talking about the 3-2-1 method of reflective journaling and sharing some layered ideas with you. Hi everybody, welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be carrying on with our reflective journaling series. We've already covered the 5 W's method of reflective journaling, and we've looked at the ABCDE method of reflective journaling. I've linked those up in the cards as well as down below, so you can go check those out if you want. Today we are looking at the 3-2-1 method of reflective journaling. I have to say, I think I said this with the ABCDE method, but I think this one's my favorite, so let's get into it. The 3-2-1 method of reflective journaling is rooted in critical thinking exercises that teachers do for their kiddos at school. And basically it's been adapted. It's been adapted in many different ways. I try to find who to give credit to, but it was really hard because it's just changed and evolved so much. And also it depends on the situation you're using it in. Today's video is going to be focused on reflective journaling in a bullet journal. So that's what we're going to look at. As I've just mentioned, this method is super adaptable depending on what you want to do. Its main focus is on personal growth and reaching goals by looking at things like gratitude, what you enjoyed, positive affirmations, and we're going to be specifically looking at things that you've learned, again, things you've enjoyed, and a particular focus that you want to work on. I have a blog post about this as well that you can check out down below, that's linked. But really, the biggest thing to take away from this is making it work for you because it is super easy to adapt. Now, getting into the 3-2-1 method, I will be focusing on 3 things you've learned, 2 things you've enjoyed, and 1 thing you will be focusing on. And the blog post touches on that, or the blog post goes into depth about that as well. When reflecting on 3 things that you've learned, it can be a specific day, an experience, an event. You pick out 3 things that you learn from it. So this will help you gain a new understanding or an experience or lesson from that experience and what happened and how you felt in that moment. So what I like about focusing on what I've learned is that you're pulling both negative and positive experiences. We're going to get into the advantages and disadvantages of this method shortly, but I like that there's an opportunity for negative experiences too, because there's a lot of growth to be had in negative experiences as well. And I don't truly believe in like full-on positivity, especially when it gets toxic. So that's what drew me to this particular understanding of the method. The next section, which is 2 things I enjoyed. Super basic. Think about 2 things that you enjoyed in that time period that you choose to reflect on. This can be as simple as your favorite song coming on, Taylor Swift releasing Speak Now, Taylor's version, or even as simple as the creamer in your coffee being the perfect ratio, which definitely makes my day infinitely better. You don't want to put too much pressure on yourself trying to come up with something you enjoyed, but rather you just want to remind yourself of the little things that make a difference in your day. Again, you don't want to stray into forcing gratitude or forcing positivity, but rather just like, oh, hey, that happened and I really liked how that made me feel. One of the examples I give in the blog is to talk about work, where we start off our meetings with 1 personal positive and 1 work positive. And it becomes really fun because sometimes we laugh. Sometimes it's hard to come up with something that's work positive or personal positive, and then we end up having a good chuckle, and so it ends up shifting the mood anyways and kind of getting you better mentally prepared to tackle the meeting. And so it's yes, it has to be positive, but it also, that's not reality, but at least we get a laugh out of it. So the last section is one thing I will focus on. So decide on one part or one area of your life that you want to prioritize or improve upon. So for me, it's the biggest focus, my overarching focus, is to be better about how I distribute my energy. So when my energy is super high, I want to be more productive so that when my energy is super low, I can take the time I need and not feel like I am losing momentum. And then basically the little things I can do, the little steps I can take to meet that focus or meet that goal. I mean, it's hard to measure, right? But it's not a SMART goal, but but that's something that I really do want to work towards. And so one thing I'll be focusing on is little ways I can be better about managing my time and my energy levels. So I just wanted to touch on one of the alternative methods that I found, which is 3 things you're grateful for, 2 things you want to improve, and a positive affirmation. I was also drawn to this. These prompts. Other than the gratitude thing, like I don't want to say I don't have gratitude. I definitely do, but I feel like sometimes forcing gratitude isn't as positive or mentally sound sometimes. I don't know. This is probably a whole nother video, like art journal chat. So you know what, I'm writing that down for an art journal chat, is how I feel about gratitude journaling. There's a time and a place, 100%. If it works for you, I'm so glad. But anyways, I digress. So when you're thinking about 3 things that you're grateful for, it can be very simple, or it can be something you have a deeper connection to. And then something I forgot to mention in the previous section is additional journaling. So basically you're going to reflect on why those things are important to you and why. So the 3 lessons that you wrote down, like if there's one particular lesson that stands out, you can take it further and journal about that and why you felt that way and why it was a lesson you needed to learn, or why is that something you need to explore more. So same with this gratitude prompt, you're going to reflect on why that is important to you. The second section is things you want to improve upon. Very simple. It can be professional, personal, based on habits, based on skills. I guess one of my skills I'd want to improve upon is being more robust in my surface pattern design work. So that would be an example of something I would want to improve upon. And then, of course, you want to get more specific. So taking a course to work on that and writing down the specific course that I want to take to work on that. And then one positive affirmation that you can repeat to yourself throughout the day. You want to make sure that it is aligned with your goals and values if you're going to do that. Otherwise, there's no real point. And then you can reflect on why you're drawn to that affirmation and why you think that's going to work for you. So talking about the pros and cons of the 3-2-1 method of journaling. So the pros would be it provides a structured outline for reflection and makes it a lot easier to organize your thoughts through that structure. It's very simple. Like, it's a very simple understanding of the prompts, and it can be super quick to sneak in those journaling sessions, especially when you don't feel like you have time, but you do find value in journaling your thoughts and feelings. The key points of the method, which is the 3-2-1 part of the method, can help you clarify and express your thoughts. And it can enhance self-awareness by prompting you to actually observe and reflect on your experiences instead of just letting the moment happen to you, but more being in the moment, being aware of the moment and what's going on in the moment. And then by prompting you to journal things that you enjoy, it helps make you realize and appreciate the simple pleasures that you have in life and that you enjoy. And maybe that's something you can incorporate more into your routine. So those are the pros of this method. And now we will take a look at the cons. Okay, so some of the cons appear on both sides of the pros and cons debate. So one of the cons is its simplicity. So it can limit the depth of your reflection. So if you like to go in and spend a lot of time, you might feel limited by this method because you won't be able to get into the nitty-gritty. I mean, you could take the extra time if you needed it, wanted it, or had it to do that. But if you're somebody who does better off of prompts, then you're not going to have as much structure and support there. And then in line with that con, it may lack flexibility, such as open-ended journaling or stream of consciousness journaling. So if that's something that really works for you, you are probably not going to like this method. Okay, so one of the overall cons of the method as a whole is that there may be missed opportunities to explore negative experiences. So the prompts that I've chosen do allow for looking at negative experiences and adding negative experiences. But again, there's a heavier focus on the positive aspects, which again could lead to a missed opportunity for a learning experience through negative situations or through reflecting on negative situations. Another con of this method is that it may start to feel too repetitive. So if you're doing this daily, you might start writing down the same things. So on Monday, I enjoyed the creamer in my coffee. Well, on Tuesday, I enjoyed the creamer in my coffee. So it can get super, super repetitive in that sense, especially also when you're looking at the lessons you've learned. Today, for example, I've learned not to fight my toddler on ridiculous things like wanting to have a shower at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Just let the kid have a shower and he'll stop throwing a fit. But learning to pick my battles with my toddler, do I have to? I mean, I learn that lesson every day, so do I really need to journal about that? Probably not. Are there more significant events in my life? Maybe not on a daily basis, but so for me personally, I'll be looking at incorporating this method weekly and doing weekly reflections. We're going to get into layouts shortly, and I'm so excited to show my favorite layout, but I digress. We're going to do a couple more cons and then we'll get into layouts. So the final con, and I kind of touched on this with the first con, is that it may not provide enough structure for reflection. So like I said, there may not be enough prompts, or the prompts may not be leading you into a deeper reflection or a deeper understanding, or help guide you into that deeper understanding. Again, take all of these with a grain of salt. Of course, it all depends on your personal experience and how you feel and if this works for you. And again, adapting it over time so that it keeps working for you, or finding a way to make it work for you if you are attracted to this method. So throughout this video, I've been showing the layouts that I have created. There are 5 in total. They range from the super simple to the last one being a lot more complicated. It's this last one that I wanted to kind of talk about. I was super excited about this, and it was this layout that made me think this could actually work for me. So the idea of this layout is that you create a grid, and every day you're going to write down something you've learned, something you've enjoyed, and then your focus. I guess the focus would be for the next day, or what you focused on for that day. I'm still deciding. Probably what I focused on for that day, so that I can track my progress of the focus versus what was actually done. And then, so you're leaving yourself a little bit of space. So obviously I'm not going to be writing down 3 things I've learned in total. But then at the end of the week, I'm going to take a look at what I've learned daily and enjoyed daily and focused on. And I'm going to pick and choose. So 3 things that I've learned, 2 things I've enjoyed, and 1 thing to focus on going into the next week. Of course, we're going to start adding some color here because it's fun. So I chose a pencil to represent what I've learned. The coding is red if it was a bad experience that I'm learning from, orange if it was a meh experience, and then green if it was a positive experience. And then for what I enjoyed, it's going to be a circle representing a happy face. And then we're going to color that in green for good, like inside my comfort zone. Like this was something I enjoy. This is an everyday enjoyment thing. And then I'm going to color it orange if it was something I enjoyed that was outside my comfort zone. So for example, I'd never gone to a driving range before, and I went with some friends and we hit some golf balls around. It was super fun, and that's outside my comfort zone, and that's something I really enjoyed. So I would color that in orange for outside my comfort zone, and then the creamer in my coffee would be green for it's fine. Okay, and then I use an arrow for my focus, and the color of the arrow depends on how that focus aligns to my goals. So green will be if we're all good, this was great, this was the right step towards my ultimate goal. Orange if I strayed a little, like it's not going to make the biggest difference, but at least it's leading there. And then of course red if the squirrels took over and that was the end of my day. So yes, I am so excited. I'm going to be incorporating this into my current journal. I've already set up July, but I am really excited. I came up with this after I set up July, otherwise I would have left space for it. So creating a grid at the top of my page, at the bottom I have my legend, and I've left some room for reflecting once the week is done. So I am super excited to share that with you and how it's going. If you think you like this method, let me know down below. And if there's a method you want me to take a look at, again, let me know down below. I'm super excited about this series looking at reflective journaling. This is our 3rd type of reflective journaling. I believe I have 3 more coming. Apparently there's a lot of different ways to do reflective journaling. And again, I just wanted my reflective journaling to be more intentional, and that's why I started down this rabbit hole. So let me know if you're enjoying this series. Let me know if you enjoyed today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to reach out down below. I'd love to hear them. If this is something you do, let me know how you use this information. And then before I forget, I have a list of printable prompts that's available on my blog that you can go and grab to kind of help guide your reflection using this 3-2-1 method. So thank you so much for your time today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.